as playing guitar, at least outside of this classroom on a regular basis. So out of you guys, who would like to maybe take it a step further and play professionally or play in bands? Anybody? All right. Well, on that note, do you have the PowerPoint pulled up, Dr. Tharp?
And we'll get the lights after I hit play. Is that best? So I can see it very clearly.
Sure, yeah, that works.
Can everybody see the screen okay?
Welcome again. That's my name, Dustin Schaefer. Started my guitar playing career at a very early age. Been playing guitar longer than you folks have been alive. At a very early age, I was exposed to the instrument, and it sort of just struck a chord with me. Both my uncles, hey, no pun intended, but there you go. Both of my uncles played on my dad's side of the family. They taught me some chords. I was hooked instantly. My mom's side of the family is musical as well. So yeah, there it is, me at 2 years old, already aspirations of becoming a rock star. Anybody know either one of these two gentlemen? Anybody? You should know the guy on the right, or left. Excuse me, my right, your left. Anybody? I know who that is. That is a gentleman by the name of Eddie Van Halen, who is probably my first influence as a guitarist. Gentleman on the left is a little more obscure, not very well known in the guitar playing community. His name is Warren DeMartini. Played in an 80s hair metal band called Rat. And these two guys are the first guys that I really got into as far as playing, and I'll kind of explain why. They're both technical geniuses. Their prowess for the instrument was as good as you can get. This is a big one, and I'm going to emphasize this in your, if you guys ever pursue playing beyond this classroom. Outside the box approach to guitar playing. I've lived in Austin. Before I moved to Nashville, I lived in Austin for a long time, and I would see guys that were great players, but they're all ripping off Stevie Ray Vaughan. And you can probably make a decent living doing that, but you're never going to be considered one of the greats if you don't do something that's original. And as a musician, me personally, that's something that I always strive to do is do something that's different, that's never been done before. Another reason I like these guys, killer tone. That's a great, huge part of guitar playing. You have to make your guitar sound good, which after I'm done with the PowerPoint presentation, I'll kind of explain just some of the basic tools of the trade, how to achieve good tone, or whatever you think is good tone. And I think the ultimate factor in why these dudes were great is they played over great songs. Think of any legendary guitar player, Eric Clapton, Prince, rest in peace, homie. Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin. They're all great guitar players, but they would have not been anything if they didn't have great songs to play their guitar licks over. So I think that's the ultimate factor in becoming a great, legendary musician, if you will. So, like I said, I wasn't sure what you guys were studying on a technical level, so I'm just going to kind of go over, taking what you learn here or in the future and becoming what I consider a competent guitar player. You obviously have to love it. If you don't love it and you don't want to practice, it might not be the instrument for you. Leading to my next point, patience. It took me probably a good, I want to say 2 years of really, really steady playing before I considered myself a decent guitar player. And that's 2 2 years of playing probably 2 to 3 hours every day. Creativity, of course, if you're playing music, you want to create something new and special and different. That's always the goal. Diversification of style, that's, if you want to become a professional, you're going to be expected to play different styles, you know, country, rock, blues, jazz. I'm not versed in jazz. Jazz is a pretty tough, different type of music altogether. But if you want to become a professional player, someone's going to call you up and be like, "Hey, can you play this gig?" "Yeah, sure." And then you don't know what you're going to get, so you're going to be expected to play whatever is thrown at you. Emphasis on flawless execution. Beginning guitar players, myself included, when I was younger, we want to play just the fastest, noodliest, crazy stuff that you can, and a lot of times guitar players get ahead of themselves and try to play stuff that's outside of their technical ability, and you're going to impress a crowd much more if you play something that's easier and more melodic and you play it perfectly than if you try to shred this crazy solo and you can't do it. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. So practice playing perfectly. You're a human being. You're never, in your own mind, going to probably play perfect all the time, but that's the goal, is to play perfect. Developing an individual style, going back to being creative. I have my two main first influences of guitar playing, but I've been playing guitar for 22 years, and I've obviously accumulated different influences, different what's the word I'm thinking of? Different guys that I look up to in terms of stylistic cues and stuff like that, and try to incorporate into my own style, which is kind of somewhere in the neighborhood of country and rock and roll, but sounding like me and nobody else. This is a big one. Record yourself playing. That is the biggest tell of any young musician. You think you're doing good, and then just get you a cassette player or a laptop or something and record yourself, and it's going to be painful. It's tough to listen to yourself at first, because I know my first recordings are pretty rough. Like, you play it, you're like, "Oh, that was great." You listen to it, it's like, "Oh, that was terrible. What was I doing?" You can really improve on that note, recording yourself and listening back, and just, it's a continuous process. It's a never-ending process of guitar playing. I'm still, 20 years later, finding new ways to improve and get better at my instrument. Embracing an onstage persona. This doesn't mean you have to wear crazy flamboyant clothes or anything, but anybody here ever go to any live concerts? Anybody? One of the toughest things as an audience member to watch as a spectator is someone on stage that's just not feeling it. They're just up there very robotic. They're expressionless. They're not into what they're doing. That's what I mean by embracing an onstage persona, having stage presence. If you want to take music to that next level and be a pro, or even just play for fun around town, people gravitate to stage presence and energy, and that translates to the audiences. This is kind of a cheesy little thing that I have for guitar playing, but there's really 4 elements of guitar playing that if you can master, you will be what I consider a great guitar player. And the first one is technique. That's why you're here. You're learning the basics on how to play chords, scales. I think Dr. Tharp said you guys were doing finger picking, all that stuff. There's a huge umbrella of techniques in the guitar playing world, stuff that I still don't even know, and stuff that I'm still learning to this day. Taste, that's going back to, like I said, not overplaying, not doing too much, playing the right notes at the right time, laying back when you're supposed to lay back. over some of these pedals and how to achieve good tone later when I actually play some stuff for you guys. Time. This is the most important element of music, in my opinion, is having good rhythm. You just have to, that's where it starts right there, is tapping your feet, making sure that you're in time, not playing ahead of the band. Playing together is extremely, extremely important in music. If you don't play together, you're wasting your time. So getting and keeping a pro gig. So let's say Dr. Tharp has taught you all the magical keys of being a great guitar player. You've practiced on your own. You've become a good guitar player, and you want to try to get a gig, and you want to play for a living. It's not easy. I played guitar for a long time before I got to be able to play full time and not have to have a day job. So getting there, play with everyone you can, and don't ever miss an opportunity to play friends, late night campfire jams, Dr. Tharp, anybody. It really doesn't matter. I've had a lot of opportunities present themselves to me over the years by just being the guy that was like, yeah, let's play, instead of like, no, I don't feel like it. Just embrace the idea of making music all the time, and with friends or strangers or whoever. It's really fun. That's why he plays. It's fun, and you want to take it to the next level and make it fun and a way to make money. Just play as much as you can with whoever you can. Network. You guys come from an era of technology that is unprecedented. Go out and meet people. Use social media. Social media is a huge tool that you have working in your favor that I did not have when I was y'all's age. The internet was still pretty new. I mean, I guess it was not that new, but we didn't have iPhones yet. Or maybe like the first generations of iPhones when I was in high school. This was 12 years ago, so embrace technology, use it to your advantage. When you get the opportunity to play for someone, do your job. Going back to that principle of not overplaying, not thinking that, oh, well, what I'm doing is cooler than what's on the CD. Play what's on the record. Play it right. You're going to be expected to learn a lot of music on a very short notice. The first pro gig that I got, I had to learn, I think, 30 songs in 3 days, and that's hard. That's really hard. You have to kind of develop your own way to study and learn music, and so if you ever want to be at that level where you're playing professionally, you're doing fill-in gigs, you're going to be expected to learn a lot of material in a very short amount of time, and the better you can do that, the more gigs you'll get, the higher you'll get paid, all that fun stuff. Don't mess up. That's a lot to ask somebody. Being a professional, that's what's expected. Your bar is perfection. That's the bar that I set for myself, never messing up. I'm going to play something later for you guys. It's completely improvisational. I might mess up a few times, but emphasizing that second point. If you play something wrong, own it. It's jazz, right? Play a wrong note, make it right. The worst thing you can do on stage is when you or somebody plays a wrong note is doing that. Because then everybody in the crowd focuses on that. And if you just smile and laugh and just like, hey, whatever, play a wrong note, no big deal, nobody's going to notice. If you give your buddy the stink eye because he played a wrong note, people are going to notice, and they're going to shift their focus away from your song and towards that one guy that did something that was not good, I guess. That's a big one. Play sober. know if you guys have any firsthand experience with musicians, but it's a profession that's lived in bars, and I know lots of musicians personally that are extremely talented but have substance problems. And no matter what you think or what anyone tells you, you're always at your best playing sober. You'll have guys say, "Yeah, I have 3 or 4 beers before a show just to loosen up." Maybe so. I don't buy that. I'd be lying to you if I said that I haven't had a few beers before some shows, but I always play my best when I'm sober and focused. And being in a band, just be cool. Don't be a diva. Don't act like the world revolves around you. Don't start getting complacent, and just roll with the punches. Touring is tough. Everybody thinks it's just this big party and just getting drunk every night and partying and playing. And it is fun, but it's a lot of work. It's very strenuous on you, and you have to be a very sort of go with the flow kind of person if you're going to tour full time. So kind of brings me to my next point, which is actual touring. That was July 15th of 2011. That was my first day of touring nationwide. Was that day right there on that old red bus. So, downsides of touring. Constant travel. I've had many nights where I don't go to bed till 2 or 3 in the morning, and I have to wake up at 6 in the morning to drive or fly or whatever. It sucks. Not fun. It's just something that you have to deal with, and you have to learn to function in that state of mind. Constantly changing conditions. Your tour bus is going to break down, your flights are going to be delayed, you're going to show up to the venue, something's not going to be right. Happens all the time. It happens more often than it doesn't happen. You almost start to expect things to just not always go right, which is usually the case. Lack of sleep. Going back to, I've had weekends where I probably got 15 hours of sleep in a period of 3 or 4 days. Just have to roll with it and do it. Poor diet. Again, you have a lot of days where you either are going to eat McDonald's or you're not going to eat at all, and it's like you have to manage that. And I'm going to go say a little side note for whatever you guys are going to do with your lives, whether it's music or some other profession. I would embrace trying to be fit, incorporate fitness as part of your life. I did about 5 or 6 years ago, and it made me a happier person. I just feel better, and so I would recommend that just as just life advice for you guys. Just take care of your bodies, and it doesn't mean you have to go do CrossFit every day. Just be conscious of your health and look towards the future. I'm 30 years old. I turned 30 earlier this year, and not getting any younger. The older you get, the harder it is to maintain fitness. So just throwing that out there. Take it for whatever you will. Having to perform in all states, and then I don't mean states in terms of like the USA. I mean in all states of mind. Some days you feel great. Some days you feel like crap. Some days you're not feeling it, but you have to show up and do your job every time, and that's what's expected of you. And that's going to be expected of you in the professional world regardless. So understand that if you go to a party on a Sunday night and you have some drinks and get carried away, you're going to be expected to do your job on Monday regardless. So that's just another kind of life lesson. This is a tough one. I've had I've met people and actually had people come up to me like later down the line and tell me that they thought I was rude or like not a nice person just because that particular day I didn't feel like talking to people. I was just tired and wasn't feeling it. And people, you play shows and people will come up to you and they want to talk to you and ask you questions, and you're not always feeling up to that, but you got to put on the happy face and do it. It's part of the job. It's part of, like I said, touring's not all glory and rock and roll parties and stuff. This is all comes with the territory. Kind of going back to the previous statement, fans, they're going to expect you to always talk to them and be cool with them, and they're going to ask you questions, and they're going to ask you the same questions on a night-to-night basis, so you're going to have like deja vu every night. Didn't I just answer this question for somebody? Yes, you did. It happens every day, and like I said, it's just part of the job. This is a big one. Distance from the people that you love. When you tour cross country, you're gone 70% of the time, and you're away from your friends, you're away from your family. If you have a relationship, it's tough. I've seen many relationships and marriages fail because of being on tour. It's not an easy life for everyone. You have to be cut out for it. But if you work at it, I don't want to be a marriage counselor for you guys, but just understand that that's kind of another thing that comes with the territory. So, on that note, the upsides of touring. That speaks for itself. This was about a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago, Crested Butte, Colorado. That is the tallest I've ever standed in the United States. It's Gothic Peak in Crested Butte. It's about 13,000 feet. It's one of the coolest views I've ever seen. You can just see miles and miles and miles of mountains in every direction. And when you're on tour, you get to do cool stuff like that. I got to spend my 29th birthday in Paris. That did not suck. Paris is probably the greatest city I've ever been to, and if it wasn't for music, I wouldn't have taken this picture. I've been to Germany a few times. That's a legitimate Dutch windmill. Never seen one before that, never seen one since, and I thought that was a very cool thing to see. This is a winter, I believe this was in northern Idaho. Just beautiful snow-covered mountains. You don't see that sort of thing in Victoria, Texas. So getting to go on the road, you see, and I scroll through my pictures. I got tons and tons of pictures of cool places that I've gotten to see, and that's one of the most rewarding things about touring is just being able to see the world. That's a picture of the Swiss Alps. And then we got to ride some horses in Arizona. I think we were outside of Scottsdale. So this is just a handful of cool life experiences that I've got to accumulate being on the road. Another cool thing about touring is you get to meet cool people. I don't think anybody else in the room has got to have a jam session with Stu Griffin. This is a very well-known guitar player out of Austin by the name of Red Volkart. You guys probably may not know who he is. He played for Merle Haggard. Anybody know who Merle Haggard is? Nobody? It's a guy by the name of Wade Bowen. Pretty prominent figure on the Texas music scene if you guys listen to any Texas country. That's a famous country singer, Hal Ketchum. He sings a song called Small Town Saturday Night, if you guys have ever heard that tune. I know most of these folks might have been before your time, but again, just meeting cool people, famous people, not famous people, and then, there's that too. So, another thing about touring, unforgettable memories. again, going back to seeing the world, hanging out with folks. This is from Steamboat Music Fest earlier this year. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Steamboat. It's in northern Colorado. Killer music festival. If you guys ever get the chance to go, I would highly, highly recommend it. It's a great time. You get to ski, watch great music all weekend, party. It's a good time. Again, more fun life experiences. That top left one is from about a month ago. We had a rain out on the show, and instead of just canceling the show, we brought all the fans on stage, got our acoustic guitars out, and just played. Like, it was just a little jam session. It was one of the most special nights of my music career, just playing a very intimate, once in a lifetime kind of show for the few folks that stuck around. One of the most fun costumes I've ever got to rock, the old Ghostbusters. That was the show started with Shane, our drummer. This guy walked out and started with a drum solo in that outfit, and he played the whole entire show. He didn't take the mask off or anything. It was the most hilarious. It was really funny. These are just some more friends of mine. That's some guys from the band Reckless Kelly. I don't know if you guys know any of those dudes, another Texas country band. Another cool thing about playing music is getting your art documented. I got to play on two records, two pretty well-known records, and got my name printed on them. And if you'll notice, both times they're misspelled.
Oh.
So the two most legit records that I got to play on, my name is misspelled on both of them. So it's kind of funny. I gave them a lot of crap about it, but it's kind of a point of humor later. And then if Dr. Tharp, if you'll go ahead and play that video, Long Road to Nowhere. I actually got to be in a music video back in, I guess this 2014.
Mickey? Or
yeah, it would be that one. Is that speaker on over there?
Yes.
So yeah, this is probably one of the coolest things I've got to do in terms of just